News broke that we will soon have a Beast Handler tower and the Dread Bloon boss Bloon in Bloons TD6. I want to dive into this a little deeper and go over my thoughts and what your thoughts may be on these two new additions to the game. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to be cool and beat some Impoppable for this collection event that's going on right now. Now, the first thing that I think when I'm looking at this Beast Handler picture and all of what's going on, well, first is like there's a lot going on. And second, what I think is those aren't monkeys. What's going on? This is a monkey Poppy Blue game, and now we have dinosaurs and eagles and orca whales. And yes, we do have penguins on that snowy map, and we also do have those little pigeon birds on Bloons and I think a couple other maps. But we are now diving into straight no more monkeys. We're gonna have actual things, a dinosaur, an orca, a bird. Now, my first initial thought was that it's gonna be like water, air, and fire kind of thing going on with all of the elements, but then Alukian actually translated the Monklish and it's land, air, and water. So land is that fiery, or what I thought would be like a fire dinosaur type. Now, diving into this, I have no idea what I could even think. Like, just off the bat, I'm thinking like, okay, so it's gonna be a monkey tower, but he handles these beasts, these whales, these dinosaurs, these birds. But what I'm trying to think is driving me a little crazy is what do you do with the cross paths, right? So like, let's say we go with the top path little fish type thing. Well, then what happens if you pick the top path bird or the middle path bird to go with it or something? Is it going to be like a flying bird? I don't think that's how it's going to work. So is this going to be a completely new type of tower? And I think that's where they're going with this, because if you look at Geraldo, he changed the way we look at heroes. He has his own little shop. It's not a normal hero. So what if this is not a normal tower and they're kind of going with that concept? So maybe it won't have the normal like cross path upgrades. That's what I'm thinking. I could be completely wrong and just off on left field here, but I'm thinking that like maybe we don't do like a 240 Velociraptor tower. I think it might be a little different. Now, when it comes to the water tower, I definitely have a feeling that like it's going to be placed in the water. Obviously, like that's a no-brainer. It's going to be a water tower. So now let's say I place my sniper here, right? Like this, but that's my Beast Handler. That's now my Beast Handler tower. Imagine him being just full of awesome. He's like that dude from Spider-Man that had the Beast Tamer outfit, whatever. Okay. And then now all of a sudden he placed his little water guy in the water. Does that mean I can also place a land one and it flies around my head popping balloons? And then I can also place a Velociraptor that just wrecks everything? Because literally the way we look at Bloons, I feel like is forever changing. We have dove outside of the realm of monkeys only, and now we have other things. Now, the monkeys do control these creatures, which is what happened in that, right? Like what happened to make the monkeys the most strongest, and now they control the land animals and the air animals and the, the water animals. We'll get to that later, right? Now, as you can tell in this picture, or rather can't tell, is that there are a bottom fifth tier and they're hidden off of the bottom, which is kind of crazy. So we have our fourth tier. Well, yeah, it looks like a fourth tier orca. But first it starts off with barracuda, and then you get a piranha. No. You start off with a piranha, then you get a barracuda, then you get a great white shark, and then you get an orca whale. Does that mean that an orca could take down a shark? That'd be pretty cool. And then underneath, it looks like you get a mixture of them all, which is just pretty much, I feel like is going to be like what? Like a megalodon, right? Just a nutty banana type tower that will just literally go through the water and shred everything like a Kyogre in Pokemon. And it'll sit here in the middle of quad even and just go plump, plump, like a big old hungry hippo and tear everything up. That would be pretty cool. So then we go to the land towers. We have the Microraptor, Adasaurus, Velociraptor, and Tyrannosaurus. And then you get the, again, I'm going to reference some more Jurassic Park here, but I'm thinking you're going to get that big old thing. Like the first fifth tier is going to be that big old dinosaur that jumps out of the water and eats everything in Jurassic World. And then this one's going to be that dinosaur from Jurassic Park 3 that was like a bread one. Like they shouldn't have made that dinosaur, but they did type of thing. That's what I'm thinking. I'm just spitballing here. If I was an artist, I'd draw what's in my head, but obviously I can't do that. But what I'm wondering is like, what is the T-Rex going to do? And you guys, of course, please let me know everything that you think. So then what I wonder is, what are these upgrades going to do? What do you think the Velociraptor is going to do? Is it going to run around the track freely? Are all of these towers going to run around freely and they just kind of do whatever they want and just attack Bloons? So let's say we put them on first, they go after first or go after strong. Is that how that's going to work? Because that's what's really getting me curious here, because as we know, Tyrannosauruses and Velociraptors, their arms are very tiny. So they're not going to be swiping the Bloons. They're just going to be chomping them. So they just run around like just a crazy toddler on a lot of chocolate and sugar just rolling around biting all the balloons? Because I think that's what the bird's gonna do. It should fly around the top like an ace, right? So it's like, it's just gonna hover around our heads and just pop whatever it can, but it's not gonna shoot darts. That's what's kind of driving me crazy here. And that's why I'm having such a hard time fathoming what's going on. So our dart monkey, the most basic of monkeys at all, literally throws darts. But as you can see, there's no way a shark is going to throw a dart. There's no way a tiny armed velociraptor is going to throw a dart. And there's no way in this monkeyopolis place that a horned owl is going to throw a dart. So how do they attack? So, okay. I'm thinking then, what if it's a support tower, right? What if this tower is on the bottom path? Because we only have 4 support towers. We're kind of lacking there. We have the most of everything else. So if that's the case, is the water type tower gonna like waterly boost the water towers? Is the air gonna help the air towers like the heli and the ace and the planes that come out of the boat? And then the velociraptor, what's he gonna buff? Is he just an all around, like, maybe he just buffs everybody because he's like super big and strong? Like, are we really gonna have a T-Rex roaming around this screen just shredding everything? Is that how this is gonna work? Can I finally beat Quad on chimps? Which then makes me think, what if it's just a fully on support tower? Like, I'm talking just like small potatoes here, like buff in here, buff in there. What if the water tower can bring in more water? So on a map like this, you can place water here to where you can grab a sub on this side or a boat over here. What would the Tyrannosaurus do if it was? That's why I kind of think I'm wrong on that one, because what would this Tyrannosaurus bring to the table? But I think that could be a thing though. I think that the middle path dinosaur could just very well be a buffer, like a rally kind of thing, like a rallying roar, because it's just so strong and meaty and everything behind it just feels strong and powerful because it has such a giant force to reckon on its team with. That's a mouthful, but you get where I'm going with it. And then for the air support, it could be like Etienne's drones that, or his UCAB, whatever you want to call it, that like reveals camo. It could be something like that, to where now the bird helps you not only see camo, but it gives your towers more range. Kind of like in Assassin's Creed, you get the bird to like kind of see everything. Maybe we get more range across the map. Like maybe everyone can kind of just see further and attack sooner. Oh, that could totally be a thing. I would really love it though if the whale, like, because he's so large, when you put him on the map, he doesn't fit in the water, right? So he has to bring his own water to the table. Now let's talk about looks here for a second. We'll get back to what we think they're gonna do, because as I talk about it, more things pop in my crazy head and I'm just like, whoa, that could be a thing too. But I'm thinking off the looks, I'm a little biased because I like flying creatures. I think the horned owl is pretty awesome. I love owls. I think they're awesome characters of life, I guess. Why would I call it a character? And then I have to love the orca. You know, I was never a dinosaur kid. I know a lot of young dudes like the dinosaurs. Like I had a lot of buddies that just had every kind of dinosaur toy. I just was never a dinosaur guy, but the orca, now that looks like Shamu, and I love SeaWorld. But I have to say I like the horned owl. But all the artwork is amazing, but it's not monkeys. So where are we going with this? I'm gonna keep saying that because it just makes no sense to me. We don't have monkeys. Another thing to note is the size difference, which has me a little confused. Like if you place down any general tower, yes, they're gonna get bigger. Like the Dartling turning into a Mad, or a Dartling turning into the top pathway of Doom, does get significantly larger. But we're not talking a piranha to a giant megalodon, or a tiny little baby bird looking thing to a giant crazy phoenix. So let's say we do place the piranha in the water right here and it gets to giant horse-sized water donkey. Then what happens? So that leads me to believe like it's not going to be a normal tower. That's all. You know what? We're done with it. It's not going to be a normal tower. It's going to change the way we play balloons. It's going to change the way we see balloons. And we just got to get okay with that because it's not what we think. But you may have also saw that Ninja Kiwi released a picture of the Dread Bloon. Now, if you guys are fans of Bloons Monkey City, you have seen the Dread Bloon before. I want to say it's in BTD5 as well. I just don't remember doing many boss balloons. Were there boss balloons in BTD5? I would imagine there was, right? Well, regardless, you probably played it before. And what you do is you break down its shield. Ethan did a really good video on it. Check out his video on the boss balloon. My thing with the boss balloon on Bloons Monkey City is I would log in, I would play it, I would lose, or I would use a sniper and win the first tier thinking I'm really good, and then I would lose the second time or third time around. So check out Ethan's video if you want to know more about the Dread Bloon. But I do think it's awesome that we're adding more boss options to the game. But now does that mean that every single week it's just going to keep cycling like it has? So you're just going to have to, but can we just like have an option to skip Lich though? Just every time I go to beat him, I always forget that I have an alchemist and he just wrecks me. Or just in general, like I go to beat Elite and then like that stupid thing that he spawns when you break down his skull just goes, oh, I don't care that you have a VTSG and a couple Paragons. I'm going to walk right through the exit for you. And you're just like, come on, man. So all in all, I'm really excited to see everything everything that comes from this, because I love that they're always coming up with new and crazy cool ideas like this. And I truly do believe that this is going to be a tower all of its own, just like Geraldo was. I don't think it's going to be what we've seen before, but that's just my take on it. I could be completely wrong, but have you seen a whale, orca, bird, Tyrannosaurus in Bloons before? Because I have not. So this could change everything. And if you haven't yet, check out this video here. We find out that sometimes titles just kind of suck. You don't know what it's about. You don't know what it's going to be. And sometimes it's a challenge that could take for days.